Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Doreen here on Thursday, March 26th. An active weather pattern continues across much of the nation. However, there will be a break in the action today in the Mid-Atlantic region after a chilly start to the day. Mostly sunny skies will boost temperatures to well up in the 50s, maybe the upper 50s to near 60 degrees later this afternoon in the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor. But more rain is likely late tonight and early tomorrow from one system, and then there will be additional showers over the weekend from a combination of a frontal system and a low pressure area that will form over the middle of the country and then push up to the northeast over the Great Lakes region. Then by the middle of next week, there's a potential for a major storm system. There's some signs of a strong and wide impacting type of storm by the middle of next week, let's say Tuesday, Wednesday time frame, that could travel from the southern states, the deep south, all the way into the mid-Atlantic region. Still not 100% certain by any means, but the threat is on the table for a major storm system by the middle part of next week. Let's take a look ahead and take a look at the current situation over the next several minutes. Let's start off here with the teleconnection index known as the North Atlantic Oscillation. When it slides into negative territory this time of the year, it often results in some cold air outbreaks into the central and eastern U.S. and perhaps even some somewhat sustained colder than normal air this time of the year. Here is the latest forecast in red for the NAO index over the next couple of weeks. It just drops pretty noticeably here from positive territory, which is where it stands right now, indicated here by the black. But over the next week to 10 days or so, as we move into the early part of April, it'll drop into negative territory again, signaling the possibility of additional cold air outbreaks. And indeed, plenty of signs point to colder than normal conditions in much of the central and eastern U.S. as we transition into the month of April. Well, one of the signs of a negative NAO, usually combined with a negative AO, is that there can be high latitude blocking, and by that I mean higher heights compared to normal across northern latitudes such as Greenland, Iceland, northeastern part of Canada. And we start off the day here today on Thursday. Notice here 500 millibar height anomaly map shows below normal heights over Greenland, not a negative type of NAO, not a blocking pattern. But watch what happens over the next week or so, especially in this region right here that again starts off the day here on Thursday with below normal heights. If we just move forward here and watch what happens here. You see this upper level ridge starting to pop by the weekend. Very strong height anomalies on the positive side here near Greenland, Iceland, over the next few days. That happens by the weekend, and that again is kind of supporting the idea that the NAO will indeed slide into negative territory. Some high latitude blocking developing, and oftentimes high latitude blocking with higher heights than normal over places like Greenland is kind of correlated with a trough that develops over the eastern part of the U.S. And watch what happens as we go forward. First, we have this ridge over here, but again, higher heights than normal, high latitude blocking starting to set up here with that NAO by the middle part of the weekend into negative territory. And then we'll just watch as time goes on into the early to middle part of next week. Notice troughiness here starting to form here with this high latitude blocking setting up over Greenland, northeastern part of Canada. Now just focus on this particular area. This is by the middle part of next week. Below normal heights, kind of a trough sets up, colder than normal conditions likely with this trough in the upper part of the atmosphere right along the eastern seaboard, and a wide area of above normal shown here by reds and oranges, above normal heights. In other words, NAO negative, high latitude blocking, and that often again is correlated with below normal heights, below normal temperatures. Looks like that'll be the case as we move into April. And once we get there, it kind of sticks around for a few days. Now we're all the way out to the end of next week with a continuation of kind of a blocking pattern to the north, northeastern Canada, Greenland, higher heights than normal, and a trough sitting right along the east coast of the U.S. Well, we just took a look at the height anomaly forecast maps by the ensemble run of the GFS. Now let's take a look at the 850 millibar temperature anomalies. And again, with that trough developing by the early part of April in the eastern U.S., look for below normal temperatures. And let's move forward here. We have a lot of warmer than normal conditions as we begin the day here on Thursday. And really that continues for the most part into the weekend here. But notice Greenland starting to get above normal. That's as that upper level ridge intensifies near Greenland. Their temperatures will rise, and ultimately we'll start to see this trough having an effect in the eastern part of the nation. This is now the early part of next week, and just kind of focus in on the eastern U.S. as we go through next week. Look at that below normal temperature starting to really expand by the early and middle part of next week. This is now April 1st, next Wednesday. And then we move forward here, again with that high latitude blocking kind of setting up and sticking around for a few days. We have this below normal pattern with a trough in the upper part of the atmosphere setting up pretty much through the second half of next week and into the following weekend. And indeed, it looks like we're now all the way out to April 4th. So pretty much around the time we switch months from March to April, we may lock into a pattern of below normal temperatures, below normal heights in the eastern part of the nation, and that may continue right into the end of the first week or maybe even into the second week of the month of April. Well, now let's focus in on the threat for a major storm system next week. Again, we're talking about maybe the Tuesday, Wednesday time period. We're definitely in an active weather pattern across the nation, breaking the action today in the mid-Atlantic region, but that gives way to more unsettled conditions late tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. And again, the threat exists for a significant storm system by Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Let's take a look at the Canadian model. Frankly, I think the Canadian model has a better handle right now than the GFS for this potential storm system next week. The Canadian aligns more with the European model. The GFS is a little bit different than those two, and I think this has a better handle. So let's take a look at the 500 millibar height anomalies going forward from last night's 0Z run of the Canadian model here. First of all, higher heights than normal shown here in orange, and that kind of associated also with above normal temperatures here. It really strengthens by the time we get to the early part of the weekend. And then that strong low pressure, the initial one, not the big one I'm talking about by Tuesday, Wednesday. This is an initial one that'll cause some inclement weather in much of the eastern half of the nation Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That slides up north and east to the Great Lakes by the end of the week, and here we are now by Sunday night. Now, take a look at what's going on out west at this particular time. We have another wave of energy here diving into the south central U.S. here by Tuesday morning. Way down here. It doesn't look all that strong at this particular time, but it really starts to intensify. Notice it takes this deep southern track compared to this initial wave. Initial wave over the weekend cuts up across the central plains towards the Great Lakes. This is farther south and east, becomes more intense. This is now by Wednesday of next week, which is the first day of the month of April, and this is what very well could lead to a major storm system that pulls out of the deep south and heads all the way up into the mid-Atlantic region. How far north and east it goes, still a question mark. It may not make it all the way up to New England, for example. Still many, many days to go before we are more certain about this, but the potential certainly exists for a major storm system, at least from the deep south, north and east, maybe into the mid-Atlantic region. Let's move forward here. That swings to the north and east, and here we are by next Friday morning, a very significant trough in the eastern U.S. Again, we saw that a moment ago with the ensemble run of the GFS. So this is kind of two independent models here, the Canadian model and the ensemble run of the GFS that portray a deep trough in the eastern U.S. middle and latter part of next week. Should be associated with colder than normal temperatures. Whatever track that storm takes on Tuesday and Wednesday, it's very likely that it pushes in colder air behind it towards the latter part of next week. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps. Again, using the Canadian model, I think it has a better handle on the Tuesday, Wednesday storm threat of next week. First of all, a nice day today for a change in the Mid-Atlantic region. It is a chilly start, even some frost early this morning. Some of the suburbs along the I-95 corridor, but with plenty of sunshine, temperatures will jump quite noticeably to the upper 50s, maybe flirt with 60 degrees in places like D.C. this afternoon. The break in the action will be brief, however. Here we have another wave causing some showers late tonight, early tomorrow, primarily north of the Mason-Dixon line, but even down in D.C. they could get some showers out of this. Again, we're talking late tonight, early tomorrow. The bulk of tomorrow afternoon probably rain-free, maybe cloudy, but pretty mild, and mostly cloudy. But then we have to deal with a warm frontal system that by Saturday we kind of stretched out all the way from this deepening low over the middle of the country. A front exists at this particular time all the way to the Mid-Atlantic region, and no doubt rain is likely sometime on Saturday in the Mid-Atlantic region with that warm frontal system that pushes to the north. And then we have to deal with the cold frontal system. Here we are now by Sunday afternoon. That low moves all the way to the Great Lakes, and a cold front right in this region right here over the Ohio Valley will slide towards the eastern seaboard. That'll cause some showers on Sunday, so kind of warm frontal showers on Saturday, cold frontal showers on Sunday, maybe even a thunderstorm. Neither day will be an all-day rain event, but the threat will exist for showers at just about any time. That includes late tonight, tomorrow shower threat as well. So from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, certainly unsettled weather conditions. Here we are now by Sunday night. That low pushes on by again, maybe cold enough for accumulating snow up across northern New England. Then we start to focus on the deep south, and here we are by Tuesday morning. And remember, we had that very vigorous wave of energy in the upper part of the atmosphere diving all the way down into the south central U.S. That will spawn the development of a strong storm system in this part of the nation by Tuesday of next week. And watch what happens here. It really becomes quite a storm system. At this time, 999 millibar low over the Tennessee Valley. Lots of Gulf moisture. Very well could turn into a severe weather threat on the warm sector of this particular storm. Let's say from around Texas, Louisiana, all the way to the Carolinas. We're talking maybe Tuesday into Wednesday of next week. Then the storm system continues to intensify and heads to the north and east towards the Mid-Atlantic coastline. Here we are now next Wednesday night time frame. Maybe enough cold air that wraps in to cause some frozen precipitation again in the higher elevation regions of interior Mid-Atlantic, interior New York, interior New England. This time of the year, especially this time of the year, elevation is crucial in terms of determining where you may get frozen precipitation. But with this system intensifying and sliding to right around the Mid-Atlantic coastline, very well could have some significant frozen precipitation, sleet or snow, upstate Pennsylvania, for example, upstate New York, interior New England as well. This is now all the way into Thursday of next week, and here we go. Then slides. The Canadian model has it going all the way up into New England. So the potential exists for a significant storm system in the Tuesday, Wednesday, even into Thursday time period of next week. It could ride all the way from the deep south all the way into the Mid-Atlantic, potentially even farther north and east than that. We'll certainly focus on that threat over the next few days. Meanwhile, in the short term, nice day today in the Mid-Atlantic region. More showers late tonight, tomorrow. More showers on Saturday associated with a warm front. More showers on Sunday associated with a cold front. And then we'll watch out for that potential major storm system by the middle part of next week. That's it for now. For PerspectiveWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.